On the news, gunmen abduct students from Federal Government College in Kebbi. Buhari charges troops to be ruthless with terrorists. And Zambia's founding president, Kenneth Kaunda, dies at 97. Hello and welcome. I'm Folashade Ogurinde. Armed bandits have stormed the Federal Government College in Benin Yauri, Kebbi State, abducting an unspecified number of students and 5 teachers. The gunmen reportedly attacked the school around noon on Thursday and engaged in a gun duel with the policemen on ground at the school premises. The Kebbi State Commissioner of Police, Adeleke Adeyinka, confirmed that a police officer was killed during the attack while 1 student sustained gunshot injury. Adeyinka assured parents and guardians that the command is following credible leads and intensifying efforts to track the assailants and ensure the rescue of the missing students and teachers. The Kebbi school attack is one of the latest in a series of school kidnappings that have rocked the country in recent times. The abductors usually demand a ransom before the students are released, and while many of the students have regained freedom, they as cause others were still being held in the den of their captors. Roy Ohidive, a security expert, now joins us on the news to speak more on the issue. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, the trend of school abductions have continued, and it's a unity school in Kebbi State right now. Why do you think that despite all the threats by government, these armed criminals have become even bolder in their operations?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. You see, as I speak to you right now, the series of incidents that have been going on, especially when we see our schools being penetrated easily and children and students being taken away like animals. It has gotten to a stage where the irresponsibility of the Ministry of Education and the Commission of Education in every state must be held responsible and accountable, because it is their duty to work in consonance with security agencies and generate intelligence. Why can't you put certain schools on high flag, red flag, and close the schools because of rising state of insecurity within and around the school? Because if nobody is held responsible, this same scenario, unfortunately, will continue to happen. And the trauma on these children, it's not saying. You can't say what extent and depth of traumatic experiences will affect their ability to perform academically.
Now, the Safe School Initiative was created to avoid these kind of situations. Clearly, there is laxity in terms of implementation. But going forward, how can we guarantee the safety of students and schools?
Well, one thing that we should know is that every school is cut out in its own geographical location. And if you put physical security risk attendants into place, you will understand that we could ascertain which schools are going to be easily penetrated at this time. So going forward, the government, which we have said repeatedly, should immediately ascertain what schools should be open and wherever they are located, what kind of security parameters to put within such areas, because before you get to a school, you must cross through its lines of perimeter protection. And every security agency that is deployed within the areas where we have schools operating in the Federal Republic of Nigeria must be able to know when the risk parameter is being escalated to the point where the children will be at risk. So the government must work in consonance with security agencies. The Ministry of Education must work closely, and they must be held accountable.
Well, thank you very much, security expert Roy Ohidive, for your time on the news. Moving on now. Meanwhile, child rights activists and other stakeholders in the education sector have appealed to governments at all levels to provide and strengthen security measures within and around schools. To mark the special day of the African child, some of the top demands of stakeholders include access to child-friendly justice systems and a full implementation of the Child Rights Act. Our correspondent, Bisola Adebayo, tells us more.
Every June 16 marks the International Day of the African Child in honor of the Soweto Uprising of 1976, when black students protested to demand better quality of education. 45 years on, the factors which necessitated the protest, such as poor quality of education and violation of rights, are still common features across the continent. Worried by this disturbing trend, the Save the Children, with funding from the Embassy of the Netherlands, is on desensitization campaign at Junior Secondary School Gwagwalada in Abuja to educate children on the ideals of a true African.
To be protected is not a privilege, it's a right that ensues for being a human being. So we're calling on all leaders at all levels of government, even at the community level, as well as stakeholders in our communities, in our societies, in organizations. So we need to come together and see how best we can promote the rights of children around issues of education, to have safe schools. We're promoting safe schools, not just education, but let the schools be safe for the children.
We have our own internal security that we have been able to establish, and then I think that we're going up and down, going around the compound to see what is happening. We also have equally informed our security men right from the gate. Anybody that is entering the school from the gate, they should stop that person, check the vehicle, what do they want, whom do they want to see. If those people they want to see, or their minds are not clear, we ask them to clear to move away.
Some of the students also took turns to highlight the issues they are confronted with, calling for an end to child rights abuses in the country.
We need not just get men as securities. Police can be in school, soldiers too can be in schools to secure us. We are future leaders. If you don't protect us now, is it when we have the money you want to protect us? Protect us not because of our money, but because we are important to you.
Some of the children nowadays in African countries are out of schools, who are dropped out just because their parents don't have the money to be able to put them back in school, mostly in Nigeria. If you go to some areas in Nigeria, you can find little children walking around just to get money to go to school. So I want the government to please make education free, not just to the poor, but to the rich. Because some of the rich people, because of the economy, their money will go down, their income, they will not be able to send their children to school. So education should be free for both the poor and the rich.
With rising cases of insecurity in schools, experts say there is no better time for the full implementation of the 2003 Child Rights Act to provide the necessary legal policy framework for seeking justice when children's rights are denied or abused. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Abuja.
Moving on, President Muhammadu Buhari has charged troops to put in more effort in the fight against insecurity. During his visit to personnel of the armed forces and security agencies at the main Malari cantonment in Maiduguri, the president charged troops not to give breathing space to terrorists and criminals in various parts of the country, saying the war must be concluded with restoration of peace and reconstruction of all the affected areas. The president further assured the armed forces of more procurement of armaments to combat insurgents. President Buhari also interacted with some of the wounded soldiers, assuring them that the government was fully committed to their recovery and welfare. In a similar development, the Nigerian military says it remains resolute in its mandate of taking down terrorists, bandits and other vices across the country. The Acting Director of Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyeko, gave the assurances during the press briefing on the activities of the Nigerian troops in the theatres of operation between 3rd to 16th June 2021. According to Onyeko, among the successes recorded within the period under review include the arrest of a Chadian who leads a notorious kidnapping syndicate in the northeast zone.
Troops also conducted ambush operation on 3rd June 2021, intercepted and neutralized some gun runners who were in possession of assorted arms and ammunition between Naimaimai village and Sabombiri town in Sabombiri local government area of Sokoto State. Similarly, on 4th June 2021, troops following credible intelligence conducted cordon and search operation along Burubimbabwe to Jibia Road in Katsina State. During the operation, troops intercepted and neutralized some armed bandits. In another development, on 6th June 2021, the air component Operation Harder in That conducted air raids on bandit enclaves at Jibia area in Katsina State. The air raid led to the neutralization of several bandits and destruction of scores of their structures used as hideouts. In the same vein, troops while on aggressive fighting patrol arrested some kidnappers and rescued some of their victims at Benna Market in Dampu Wasanku local government area of Kebbi State.
Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdurrashid Bawa, has said the former Abia State Governor Orji Uzo Kalu will be prosecuted all over again by the Anti-Grants Agency. Bawa disclosed this during the weekly ministerial briefing at the State House in Abuja. The EFCC boss also noted that the agency is set to file 800 new corruption cases in court. He said the cases to be filed would border on public corruption and cybercrime. Preparations are in top gear for the 2023 general elections and the upcoming governorship elections in Anambra, Ekiti, and Osun states in November and early 2022. Ahead of the polls, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has unveiled new polling units across the country. Our correspondent Mary Kanu has the details.
Among the factors affecting the conduct of credible elections in Nigeria are the issues of inadequacy and the inaccessibility of polling units to voters. Ahead of the resumption of the continuous voters registration exercise, which is set to commence on June 28, 2021, INEC has cracked the nut by creating more polling units nationwide.
Before 2010, the Commission operated on a round figure of approximately 120,000 polling units. However, a census undertaken by the Commission before the 2011 general election arrived at the precise figure of 119,973 polling units. After wide-ranging consultations with stakeholders and fieldwork by our officials, the 56,872 voting points and voting point settlements were converted and added to the existing 119,974 polling units. Nigeria now has 176,846 full-fledged polling units.
Meanwhile, some polling units in inappropriate places have been relocated as the INEC chairman announces the dates for the governorship polls in Ekiti, Anambra and Osun states.
After consultation with stakeholders, the Commission has successfully removed 749 polling units from inappropriate locations to appropriate public facilities or open spaces in line with our policy to guarantee unencumbered access to polling units for all voters. The Commission has approved that the Ekiti governorship election will hold on Saturday, 18th June 2022, while the Osun state governorship election will hold 1 month later on Saturday, 16th July 2022. The detailed timetable and schedule of activities for the two elections have since been uploaded on the Commission's website and social media platforms.
A look at the distribution of the new polling units shows Lagos State has the highest with 4,861 units, while Ekiti State has the least with 250 units. While in terms of geopolitical spread, the Northwest has the highest, while the Southeast is assigned 6,082 new polling units. Mary Kanu, TV360, Nigeria.
The Nigerian Automobile Technicians Association (NATA) Festac unit and the Agboju market leaders have appealed to the Lagos State government to offer them a new location to conduct their businesses. This follows the demolition of the popular Agboju market and other illegal buildings by the Lagos State government task force last week. Our correspondent Mojisola Matomi tells us more.
Traders from the Agboju plank and building materials markets, auto mechanics and other business owners are taking part in this march to draw the attention of the Lagos state government to their plight. They say they have been stripped of their sources of income after the Federal Housing Authority demolished hundreds of the Agboju markets and other illegal structures in Festac town as part of an ongoing cleanup exercise of the town's buffer zone. As they marched to the office of the Federal Housing Authority Southwest, the assistants claimed they were asked to leave the markets without alternatives.
We have been existing in that buffer zone, which we have our documents by the federal court from Abuja to stick on that ground till they find a better place. Not until last 2 weeks ago, an issue was given to us. A letter was given to us to evacuate for 7 days. We are artisans, we are mechanics, we are all kinds of artisans in general. We don't have where and places to go. We cannot move someone's car to our own house. We cannot move someone's vehicles to our own house. Now you gave us 7 days, and most of these customers, some reside outside the country. Tell me, how do you want us to manage this?
The traders also clearly made their demands, which is to be relocated to another place where they can continue fending for themselves.
On the 17th of November 2000, all the parties, including FHA, signed that mechanics and Agboju market should be at the buffer zone temporarily, pending the time that they will locate them to 6th Avenue. It's in that judgment. Our basic purpose of fighting is that we want the mechanics to be at the buffer zone for now.
We come here to appeal to you that use your good office to talk to the authority, that even if they have been taken away from point A, please, excuse me, even when they have been taken away from point A, that you should please relocate them to point B, if not for anything, at least to render service to the residents of Festac. And that would go a long way to tell you or to tell us that you are humane in your attitude, in your discharge of duty.
Addressing the traders, the legal advisor of the Federal Housing Authority assured that their demands will be read and appropriate actions will be taken.
Your request, I'm sure, has been well captured in that your letter. It's been received, and I can assure you that the content will be well digested, considered, and the appropriate action will be taken by the appropriate authority.
Meanwhile, the government has said there is no going back on its plan to restore the old glory of Festac town. Mojisola Matomi, TV360 Lagos.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Okagbare, Amusan, others storm Lagos for Olympics trials. Now let's take a recap of some of our top stories. Armed bandits have stormed the federal government college in Benin Yari, Kebbi State, abducting an unspecified number of students and 5 teachers. The Kebbi State Commissioner of Police, Adeleke Adeyinka, confirmed that a police officer was killed during the attack while 1 student sustained gunshot injury. We also told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has charged troops to put in more effort in a fight against insecurity. During his visit to personnel of the armed forces and security agencies at the Mai Malari cantonment in Maiduguri, the president charged troops not to give breathing space to terrorists and criminals in various parts of the country, saying the war must be concluded with restoration of peace across the country. In case you missed any of our news bulletin, for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google+ at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. Nigeria's recorded 8 new cases of COVID-19 in the past 24 hours, raising a total infection tally to 167,103. The 8 new cases were reported from 3 states. Rivers leads with 4 cases, followed by FCT and Kwara with 3 and 1 case respectively. Meanwhile, for the 12th consecutive day, Nigeria has recorded 0 COVID-19 deaths, maintaining the death toll of 2,117. The latest update shows that 45 patients were discharged on Wednesday, the highest recorded since the start of the week. Japan plans to lift Tokyo's virus emergency measures on June 20, a month before the Olympics. According to the Japanese government, despite the relaxed restrictions, only 10,000 spectators will be allowed at the Games event. Tokyo and several other parts of the country have been under a virus emergency since April 25, with the measure forcing the early closure of bars and restaurants and banning them from selling alcohol. It is due to expire on June 20, and the Minister overseeing Japan's coronavirus response said the government would seek to move Tokyo and 9 other regions to looser restrictions. We take a break here and return with more stories. To stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Now, in the world of business, crude oil prices fell on Thursday as the US dollar strengthened after the Federal Reserve signaled it might raise interest rates faster than expected. But a big drop in US crude oil inventories limited losses. Brent crude oil futures dropped by 42 cents to $73.97 a barrel after reaching its highest since April 2019 in the previous session. U.S. crude oil futures fell by 42 cents to $71.73 a barrel after reaching its highest since October 2018, the previous day. Well, we'll take a breather here and return with a review of the stock market. Stay with us. And now in stock news, the domestic stock market made another rebound in today's trading session despite mixed sentiments and the key indicators. The all-share index advanced by 0.13%, increasing market capitalization to about 20.125 trillion naira. Now, at the close of trading, 20 equities posted gains as Berger and Champion and topped the list with combined gains of 73 kobo, showing investors renewed interest in some consolidated stocks. Today's gains spread across all sectors as about 160 million units of shares were traded in
260 deals. Now, moving on, the financial services sector and the consumer goods sector, represented by International Breweries and Consolidated Hallmark Insurance, were the hardest hit as they saw a fall in share prices to record 16 kobo losses, as investors have been advised to ride on the back of the bulls in subsequent sessions. Now, moving on to the global scene, the bears have taken over the global market as the US, the UK and Asian stocks are all trading at a loss, riding on the news of the hawkish announcement by the Federal Reserve. The stocks are currently trading at 0.44%, 0.97%, and Asian stock Nikkei is trading at 0.93%. Well, that's all on today's review of the stock market, but we'll take a break here and return with more stories. Don't go away.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Well, on the foreign scene, Zambia's founding president, Kenneth Kaunda, has died aged 97 at a military hospital in Lusaka, where he was being treated for pneumonia. Kaunda ruled Zambia from 1964, when the Southern African nation won its independence from Britain, until 1991, and afterwards became one of Africa's most committed activists against HIV/AIDS. Although Zambia's copper-based economy fared badly under his long stewardship, Kaunda will be remembered more for his role as an anti-colonial fighter who stood up to white minority-ruled South Africa and in Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. Well, up next is Entertainment Report.
Netflix has announced the commencement of a 3-month training program in story writing and post-production for film and television professionals in Africa. The movie streaming service platform said the training was subdivided into a 3-month training program with 12 African participants and a post-lab post-production workshop for film and TV professionals. According to the streaming giants, the selection process for the 12 participants commenced in 2020 as over 500 applications were received from candidates across sub-Saharan Africa. It's added that the 3-month training program would run in partnership with Realness Institute and would be focused on Nigeria, South Africa, and Kenya. While Tokwe Alabi has been facing backlash online over her comments, the Onidoromi song has since gained more popularity as some people even began the Onidoro challenge on social media, posting videos of themselves singing the song. Gospel singer Larry Teriba waded into the Onidoromi saga as he uploaded a video on his verified Instagram account where he attended an event alongside Yinka Alashiori. While clearing the air that he has no problem with Tokwe Alabi, the singer noted that her comments could have ruined Alashiori's career. Meanwhile, Alashiori has asked for peace from all sides, describing Tokwe Alabi as a mother. And that is all that's for your entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment and now to sports, ahead of the 2020 Summer Olympics scheduled to hold between July and August 2021 in Tokyo, Nigeria's male and female relay teams are at the Lagos Invitational Competition for selection trials to choose Nigeria's delegation. The competition, holding at the sports complex of the Yaba College of Technology, is one of the windows Nigeria and other African countries have to ensure their relay teams qualify for the relay events of the Tokyo Olympics. Nigeria secured provisional qualification for the women's 4x100 meters event and will be hoping to seal their spot on home soil with the iconic sprinter Blessing Okagbare leading the campaign. Well, that's it on our news bulletin. Thank you for watching. I am Fola Shadi Ogurinde.